I have trouble dealing with failure. This year on the Board of Governors, I was elected, and almost immediately we saw the massive cuts come across the province, and it was realizing that I wasn't going to be able to fulfill the campaign promises I'd made then, that we were not going to see increases in non-instructional fees. My first board meeting, we saw massive increases, and I have a hard time dealing with that failure. It's learning to kind of accept that failure, learn from it, learn to do better than I want.
Around campus, involved in ULSU events, I think they can be a little too energetic and out in your face a lot. I get really excited about stuff, and it's hard to kind of set that apart and kind of take a moment and talk to you guys, figure out what you want, and go from there. So I think that that's something I obviously.
I think the one thing that we get coming into this organization, I didn't realize how stressful it was going to be. Like, I do love this organization, but I find that a lot of what I'm doing multiple different things. So it's bouncing around between events, and it's a lot about managing your stress. You know, we're students too. We're taking courses. It's bouncing between those various events. I have grants, and there's some grants that I struggle with approving, or I struggle with dealing with the person that I'm dealing with. So there's a lot of stress with my job. I didn't realize that coming in. I think I dealt with it okay, but yeah, I'd say it's a lot more stressful.
Anybody that knows me can attest to the fact that I do take a lot on my plate. I tend to bite off more than I can chew, and it comes to crunch time where I often get only 4 hours of sleep, and then I end up hopefully finishing everything in the end. But over the years, I've learned to cope with my yes man tendency, and to make sure that in the event that I do bite off more than I can chew, it comes down to time management and prioritizing. So I know with this event or this position that I'm running for, it's a big one to grasp, and going into it, you kind of hit the ground running. But I'm confident that with my time management ability and my ability to think on my feet, that I'll be able to cope with my biting off more than chewing.
I think the biggest thing for me is stress management in a way that I can usually kind of get things piled up and not really being able to ask for help, I guess. So just kind of realizing that everyone's kind of dealing with the same thing, their own stresses, their own worries, and that reaching out for help and asking someone for help, or even just someone to talk to is definitely really beneficial, and that's something I can do.
Probably a few problems I have, just a couple quick ones. I don't know about any other students, but I'm pretty reliant on caffeine, so I'm saying what they do to caffeine, maybe. Public speaking is an issue for me, as you might have not heard. But along with being a fifth-year student with 2 majors, you tend to get a lot of stuff piled up, trying to fit everything in on a deadline and get like a couple hours of sleep, I guess. It's a good goal. That's an issue of mine, but the counseling, I'm working through it. So I think it won't be an issue.
Really what's wrong with me. Maybe everyone's fine for that, but I'll just pick up 2 things about myself. I'm kind of a messy person, so my desk always looks disorganized, and that's just kind of how I am, but it doesn't look very professional, so that's something I've had to work on all year. And I guess the other thing too is, especially my first 6 months as an executive, I took too much on a lot and had a lot of trouble prioritizing, so that's something that I really worked on these past, I guess it's 4 or 5 months now. And that's something that I continue to have to work on, same with being organized and keeping my desk looking presentable. But those are probably my 2